Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. If all those who have subscribed or will subscribe, thank you very much. And I will subscribe back to your channel if your settings let me. The settings have to be set a certain way for me to see that it's you, to hit it so I can go to your channel to subscribe back. And most of the time I can subscribe back, and I do. And then sometimes, if the settings aren't right, you'll be able to subscribe, but I won't see who you are, so I won't be able to go to your channel and subscribe. So I'm not ignoring you or anything. And again, I say this in a lot of my videos. I think today we're going to do something a little different. I figured I would show you all the game boxes. Some of the game boxes aren't that great. Sometimes some of them I have some duplicates of, but I thought I'd go through all of them. It's going to be quite a big video here. You can skip to whatever letter you want. I have the USB mod on this, where I got all the games on the USB, and you hook into the back of the Super Nintendo Classic Mini. People call it Mini, but it's a Classic Edition Super Nintendo. Yeah, I modded it so that it has all the games. I said that before many videos ago, that for the NES Classic Edition, that I had all the games, but I only had like 80% or so. I'm still working on that series, showing a few minutes at the beginning of each of the games. This is like a preview. If you've never seen the games before, this is the Super Nintendo. I'm not going to play any games this time. For this video, I'm going to just go through the letters and show you all the box art that I have for every game, and hopefully that I will be able to get through it quite at a reasonable pace. I'm just going to scroll through them, each of the files, and we'll start with this one. This is a video I've already did for the number ones, but I'll show all the files and all the games and of what I have. Some of them have duplicates, like I said. The formats are different. There's two different formats. Sometimes it doesn't do like the NES format ones, and then it has the other format that's specifically for this system. And you can also mod it and put other systems on here, like Game Boy and stuff like that, which I'm going to probably do as well. And I'll go through all the Game Boy ones as well. I figured I'd do a little different. Instead of playing the beginning of each game as a preview for this specific video, it's going to basically be just scrolling through them and seeing the different box art and seeing how all the games look. And let's just get started as I'm talking here. Let's start with the number ones, and I already did a video of this one showing the beginning of each of these games, and I'll just scroll through them, and you can pause it, read them as you like, and it's going to take a little while. And I turned the volume down real low. You might be able to hear the menu, but hopefully that isn't a copyright. I just wanted some kind of noise in the background, instead of me just talking and pushing the button. You maybe can hear a little bit of that in the background, so that isn't completely like dead silent on here. Okay, I'm not gonna read them. I'm just gonna kind of just scroll through them. And that is the first. That's all the numbered ones. Let's do A. And there's two files for this, for the A's, and I think there's like 50 of these. You can count them if you like, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just gonna scroll through them as you can see the box art and the names. It's real slow here, and like I said, you can pause it, rewind, fast forward as you please. Remember, you're in charge of the video player. That one of them I couldn't get working. I think it was this one. But there's different formats, and I think that's why this one here in that one video, when I was doing the previews at the beginning of the games, this one didn't work. I think it would work, but I think it's a different format, And the emulator that's built into the Super Nintendo wasn't the greatest. It was only basically made for 21 games. It wasn't made for the entire collection. So we'll just go through each one at a time, like I said. And I figure I'd do this instead. That way you can see what this thing is capable of if you mod it. And I'm going to be putting Game Boy on here as well. And I'll probably show you all the box art to those. As I haven't had time yet to do it. You know, you got to have patience. And this took me hours to do. The day that I did this, it took me hours to figure it out, to put all the box art. Because when it did all the box art, you had to do it individually on certain ones, even though it automatically puts the box art on all of them. But sometimes it wouldn't do it, and sometimes it would put a clone, like the same box art. Like if there was a part 1 and part 2, sometimes it would put the same box art for both of them. And again, you can pause it as you see fit. Fast forward to the letter you'd like. Yeah, just in case you've never seen all the games. And I said some of them don't have the greatest box art. Some of them have duplicate box art because when it put the box art on here, it just picked whatever it could find. You can individually put whatever box art you want, but that takes even longer to do. I just did the automatic scan for the box art. So there you go. I'm not used to using this joystick either. I'm used to the NES one now. And you gotta push it's weird how the buttons are set up on this one. The Super Nintendo joystick, all the buttons it has. We're still in the A's. Okay, I did that, didn't I? Okay, we're done with the A's then. Sometimes I get confused with, with where we are here. I don't like how it's sort of set up for the files. It's a little different from the NES. You can change the file settings too, how you want to put it. But we're on B now. I'm getting kind of sidetracked here. Talking. That focused as well. See how this one is? This one is just it was just randomly whatever they had to identify the box. So some of them I'm going to be kind of off on them. And there's a lot of games. It was supposed to be 722 for the US. For the US version, NES, Super NES, I mean. And so they might have hacks and all that. Japan obviously had more games than the US. Hopefully that the video comes out alright with you, how I have it focused in on the TV. I don't have that hookup yet for directly into the camera type thing. Bear with me. Hopefully it's focused good enough and even on the screen. Whoops, back a little bit here. Kind of went a little quick. I have a lot of them. Basically, it's almost like 2 files per letter, it seems like here. Like I said, I thought I'd do something different because a lot of people aren't viewing my my previews of each game. So I thought I'd do this, just show all the box art this time around for this video, and I'll go back to doing a few minutes at the beginning of each game, preview of each one again as well. I want to finish up the NES. Classic Edition. I'm about halfway through that one. Eventually, I will do a second attempt on that Game Boy Advance that I messed up. And hopefully I still have all the parts. If not, I might not be able to do another video of that. I want to put that screen adjuster back on there. Refix that. I might, according to it, there's three pins on it, and you only need 2 pins. So I might be able to be able to do that. I think I just did that one, didn't I? I'm getting sidetracked. Hopefully I did that. I'm kind of distracted. There's a lot of files here, so bear with me on this. And there's usually like 2 files. I just gotta pay attention that I'm doing them right here. Hopefully I didn't skip none. All right, here we go. Kind of just slowly go through them. I played some of them from the reverse, from Z and Y, backwards. And I just randomly picked some games to play after I modded this. And to tell you of what I've seen of the last letters on here, they weren't really interested to me. I didn't really enjoy playing a lot of those games. Some of them are almost like they're fill-in games. There's some good games. There's some awesome games on here. It's just, I think to tell you, to just be straight with you, in my opinion, is I think the majority of the Super Nintendo games weren't really that great. Of what I've seen. Some of them were awesome, and others were okay. And I think a good portion of these were more filling games than anything, just to have new games to buy for the system and keep a variety. I'm not really to say I'm being a sourpuss or complaining. It's just after playing all the regular NES games and coming to this, it just felt like they were just a bunch of fill-in games. In my opinion. Of course, I just did that one, right? I just did that one. Yep. I just making sure because there's just so many of them. Okay, we're on D now. It's kind of hard to get track of. And of course, yeah, they're just basically 2 or 3 files each. I just gotta remember, the first file say and of course, just you can put it on whatever letter you want, fast forward. But I just thought this would be different from the other videos that I made. Constantly kind of, repetitive type thing. And I like to change it up every here and there because it can kind of, I like to keep everybody entertained. Since it's the same old. Might discourage you not to want to watch the videos. I had that game, Draken, the actual game. I had to use the Super Nintendo Game Genie on this to beat it. I didn't understand it. It was just weird. we'll get to that if I do some previews on these games all the way through, like I did with the NES. I'll play it if it works. Like I said, the formats or the emulation, the emulation that's on this, that Nintendo put on this, is not very great. It's capable of playing the actual 21 games, but that's why some of them probably won't play very well. There is other emulation cores you can put on here, which I will probably do for like the Game Boy Advance. I'm gonna put all those on here with box art as well. And okay, we're on E. It looks like there's only one file for E. And you know, just something to yeah, I might have to turn that volume off just in case. I hate to have to, not hate, but it would be very disappointing that I do this and then YouTube says it's copyright because of that sound in the background. So I better turn that off. I turned it off, the sound off. Just bear with me and just listen to me and or mute me, whatever. Yeah, please watch the video though. You know, it'll help me out. You can also donate to my PayPal, or you can buy on my eBay to support me, which would help me too. Eventually, I might have to take the eBay off because you got to pay for that store, and I'm not going to pay for it when it's due, because not really getting a whole lot of sales anymore. So that's why I'm on YouTube, to change it up. Okay, F. Now I remember this one, Final Fight. I remember I had the original. And I was struggling on that. Believe it or not, this might sound kind of funny or even a little bit pathetic, but I was playing Final Fight there back when I was a kid. I beat it, but it took me forever. What happened was I was playing it, punching those buttons so hard that believe it or not, I got whiplash on my neck on that game. My neck was so sore. And then after recovering from that, I gave it another go, and I finally beat it without any codes. And it was a really awful experience playing that game. I mean, it was neat. It was a neat game. See, like right here, you got Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 3. Well, that means I have two different formats. Unless it's the box art problem where it could be Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 3 twice. One of them is for the NES type of format, and the other one is the other format that's supposed to go with this. So one of them will work probably, and the other one probably will not work. And that's just how it is when you mod it. When it automatically detects the box art and stuff. It will do that. Say here's another one. Sometimes they're Japanese box art because I couldn't find it. It's just how it is. And I had to go through each of these. Some of these here like this, and here, or for certain ones, I had to go in individually and change them, make the effort to change the box art to rescan it, and get it to put the right box on it. So that's why I said it took me many hours to do this. So this was a lot of work to put just to put any type of box art, really. Some of them wouldn't detect right. Frogger. Okay, F is done. I figured it probably will take me a little time to go through these. I figured I'd talk as I do it, because something, kind of fill in some of the sounds so it isn't completely quiet. Again, but they couldn't match even the Super Nintendo. To say it, yeah, I'm not saying that was. That I'm obsessed or nothing with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out when it comes to all the boxings, but it's not that. I'm not even that great at that game, but it's just they couldn't top Mike Tyson's Punch-Out just by how they did it. And then ever since then, when they would do boxing games, they just couldn't do it. Even with 3D and stuff, it just couldn't match that game. Whoever programmed that game and made that game, that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES, they did a really good job on it. Whether you like Mike Tyson or not, it was just how they did it. It was like it was cartoon. It was sort of like Mario. It was just how they did it. They did a really good job on that. We are on H. And it looks like there's only one file for H as well. Well, like I said, that's just my opinion of how I figured, how I viewed it in my mind, which like Tyson's Punch-Out. It's just the boxings were never the same after that game. They couldn't top it even with 3D. But like I said, I just wanted to share that. So we're moving along here. Home Improvement. Yeah, they all got a piece of this, didn't they? Even those TV shows. It's too bad it won't stay where I left off on the file. I gotta scroll all the way back over. We're in the eyes, so we're almost halfway through. So it's not too bad. Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures. Whoops. I thought this would be a different, kind of a neat video showing all the games, and then probably all of them, whether they play them or not. It's another thing altogether. And we're in the J's. And again, one file for this. Makes it a little easier. It isn't as confusing. You have to go to another file for the same letter. Again, as a reminder, some of these box arts won't be exact, and some will be duplicates. I remember getting the the Sega Genesis just for this game right here. I didn't think they had it for the Super Nintendo. Actually, I don't think they did for a while. Sega Genesis had this game first. Some of them are like movies, and those weren't the greatest. Some of them were just fill-in games as well. See how the box art's kind of off on that one. Yeah, it is what it is. I made sure that they all had box art, because some of them wouldn't. A lot of them didn't have box art. It wouldn't detect it, so I had to go in there individually and rescan them. So I hope everyone appreciates the work I put into putting the box art on here and putting the games on here. It was very time consuming, and no, I appreciate it, because I know that, because I had to do it. But in the case, almost there, halfway, just about. And one file for this. Makes it easier. And a lot of these games I haven't played, and some of them that I did play, just checking them out when I modded it to make sure it somewhat works, It just, like I said, it's a nostalgia. Certain people had these games, others did not, growing up, so it's just memories, experiences you might have played with your friends. You might have took it over your friend's house, or your neighbor kid, kids in the neighborhood borrowed them or whatever, fought over them. Like you would let somebody borrow it, and then you go back to get it, and they gave it to somebody else to borrow, and they borrowed a game from them. It was chaos. That's why you see, like, on the NES cartridges, even these Super Nintendo cartridges, they would put their name on it. That was why. They put their name on it, because they ran into the issue where they let a kid borrow it from the neighborhood, and then they would take your game and let somebody else borrow it, and then they would exchange it and borrow from them. And you ended up having who's accusing each other. Oh, this is my game, and no, it's my game. That's how it was. I had that happen to me once. My brother had to go get it, and they wouldn't let me have it back. So that was a long time ago. Okay, we're in the L's, and we have just one file for that. That one's like one of the best Zeldas. Probably the only Zelda, wasn't it? For the Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo, it was short-lived, I think, wasn't it? And it went from Super Nintendo to, what was it? The N64, was it? I think it was the N64, then it was the the Wii, then GameCube. I think that's how it went. I could be off on that. Just throwing that out real quick. Not much thinking about it. I said, well, that might be how it went. Lobo? That's weird. Check that box art out on that muscular monster guy there. L's are done. Let's move on to the next letter. M. Yeah, see, we're about halfway now. A little bit right there, in the middle-ish. By the M. M for middle. And there's 2 files for this. I gotta remember to go to the second file. Mario Paint. And I would read them all, but I just figured, you know, everybody can see them, so see what it says right at the top there. And like I said, if I go too fast, you can rewind it and pause it to that spot. Look at it better. I'm just casually scrolling through them, so kind of slow, but I'm gonna give a second there to at least look at them. And then you can pause it on there. Well, that guy was really popular, wasn't he? That Madden. They made all kinds of football games with them on the title of the games. Even I haven't scrolled through all of them. I mean, a majority. I mean, obviously I went through them all, but I mean, doing it this way, I haven't done it. You can see the box art blown up to bigger size. So there's another Madden. There's a lot of them. Boy, he must have made a lot of money on that. Programmers did all the work. All he had to do was to voice it. Must have had an awesome manager. Get all those gigs. Again, I hope it comes out on video a lot better than what I'm seeing on the camera right now. Decent quality, hopefully. Micro Machines, remember that? I thought those were the awesomest toys back in the day. I hardly had any, but I just thought they were the neatest thing being that small. Today, you go to buy them, they're even more expensive. They don't make them anymore. The lube ones, today. So if you wanted those again, it's to collect them. Again, I think I did this one already. See, I get confused with it because I'm on a roll, you know, get through them. Oh, there's a third one. There's a third file. Glad I saw that. And some of them have 3 files, some of them have 2 files, and some have 1 file. Micro Machines too. Again, getting there. And there's 2 files on this. See all the work I did? You know, I think that's a neatest thing to have box art for each game. I think that's, see this one here, the duplicates. It's the same. It's basically, there's two different format games on this. From the ROMs, some of the files, ROMs had two different formats. So that's why there's a duplicate. So one of them will probably work. You have a good chance of getting at least one of them work. The other one probably won't. But if I get these other emulators on here, it might detect it and be able to play it. Like those ones that I couldn't get, like the Alien one. I couldn't get it to work. I might be able to get it to work after I get another set of ROMs on here, or a set of emulators. Like I said, the original emulator isn't the greatest on this. So we're using this system to the max. We're pushing this system by having all these games on here. Just like I said, they only made it to have the 21 games, so it's those hackers or modders who make this stuff they're awesome, aren't they? They just programmers, they know what they're doing. And the second file here. Now this one here, Nintendo Scope 6, was like that bazooka. Again, I wouldn't be able to play this. I would have to preview it. I might be able to put it on, but it won't be able to do anything. Yeah, they did a thing with a scope, which they called super scope, or it looked like a bazooka, and you know, they tried it with this as they did with the NES with the zapper. So you know, they did what they could, I guess. You know, let's do this. Remember, that was when you had those old school tube TVs. Yeah, so it would work on them. Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. So if you didn't know they had that for the Super Nintendo, there you go. Play all three of them. On O, so we're doing good time on this for what it is. Out of this world. And as you see, as I scroll through them, you can see that a lot of them are like, I never heard of that one. Wow, that one's different, you know. Some of them, like I said, are fill-ins, and others are really awesome games. I mean, there might be some on here I'm scrolling through that you probably never heard of or seen before. Probably would enjoy. So I ought to check that one out. 2 files on this. And peas. See, there he is again. He's in all of, look at that. John Madden football. I mean, he was in so many NES games too. I mean, he might have made a fortune just that alone, besides being a football coach or football player or whatever. Man, he must have made a fortune. I think the box art on the NES was better, in my opinion. I think the box art on the NES, it had the artists, they just did an amazing job. It almost seems like a lot of this box art is more digital pictures. What are these? Look at 3 duplicates here. Huh. That's odd. Whatever that is. Check that out. Porky Pig. Remember they took that cartoon off and said it was being violent and stuff. Wow. It's a shame how today is from how it used to be. Back in the day, it was just take it as it is, you know. Today, it's more complicated. See? See how that works? I'll get back to you in a second. Not sure where we left off. We'll start right here. It ran out of memory or something. It does that. Remember, we got a lot of games on here that ain't even supposed to be on here. So it does this from time to time. It did it on the NES as well. And of course, second file. Paperboy on the arcade. That was the best one to play is on the arcade. I know I had the kind of like I wouldn't say a steering wheel, but it was just weird, that game. I think the whole idea of the arcades though is that they could talk and they had better sound quality. Pilot Wings. I used to have that one. I played that one until I played that one until I wore it out. And eventually I had to use the Super Nintendo Game Genie on that. At a helicopter level. I think I did beat it without the Game Genie. It just made it a little easier. I beat it a few times that way. But you're gonna run into little errors and stuff. Some games might not play, like you saw in the video a little bit ago. This is how it works. But it's amazing it even made it that you could even put anything on here at all. We're in the queue, so we're almost there. And only one, only one in the queue. Look at that, Q*bert 3. That means the other Q*berts are probably on the NES. Well, I made that easy. Actually, we can go this way. And we're in the R's. Probably a lot of R's. 1, 2, no, just 2 folders. And there's like probably close to 50. Usually there's about 20, 24 or something like that. You can count them. See, like this one here, it had to be a box art that way because it was the only way it would scan it. You had to find another one when you scanned it because it wouldn't bring up any box art, or it would bring up something else that wasn't the actual game. Super R-Type 3. I remember I haven't had the original the R-Type Super R-Type when the Super Nintendo came out back in the day, and I played that. I had to use the Game Genie to beat that one. Some of them, I had this one as well. That one, I think, was a kind of a copy from Final Fight, the one I got Whiplash on. This one here, I got this one, and I thought it would be. I looked at the back of it. I thought it would be kind of neat. That was a lot of money for that game. I don't know how I played it. I was like, this isn't that great. Sometimes, at times you don't know how they are until you get them home after you buy it, unless you can rent them, or you played at a friend's house. It was just, like 50-50, chance whether it was worth buying. But once you buy it, you're stuck with it. Some people would take it back and say that it didn't work, so they could get a different game. That's kind of how you had to do everything you could to get a nice game, because it was so expensive. Like today, that's what PlayStation 5s are what, $79, $70 or something. Alright, moving on. We're going to go to the next level. Alright, we're in the S's. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to do after this, and we're done. Wow, look at all these files. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files. Oh, I'll remember all of these. Alright, let's start here. So S's had probably the majority of the games. And pardon me if I went a little too fast there. Don't want to rush it through. Just slow down here. second one. Sequest. That was something to show. That poor kid that played in that. What happened to him was awful. You'd have to look that up. I'd rather not say what he did to, what exactly happened to him. I think it'd be best you would look that up if you want to know what happened to that kid. It's a shame. He was talented too. He didn't have much meat on his bones though. But you know, he was something. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? How people they struggle and they finally get success and something happens to them real quick, isn't it? And it's all over. You're here one minute and then you're gone the next. That was the only box I could find in the scan. It's the only one that brought up. That one. I remember that. What? Notice how it disappeared? One, two, one, three. Star Fox. And then there's another Star Fox. Yeah, because of formats. Was in the wrong file. There's Star Fox 2. There. Oh, you have to open that up as well. So then there's the other one. 2 copies each there. I just put them all on there. That's why too. It was taking so much time to go through all of these. Get it to work. You had to have the right format. File that it was in another file. I had to take that file and open it up, go into that file, and take the ROM out of it. Starwing edition. So it was a real headache putting these on here. So I hope some of you appreciate the time I put into putting this on here. You know, it's a like, you know, a little you know, show and tell basically to show each of the game boxes. See how that one. See how these are 2 same box art, but they're just different games. The Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighter. Basically, they're different games, but that was the only box art that would be detected for these 2, which I mentioned earlier. That it would do. Some of them were like that. A lot of S's, aren't there? And I think I had this one too. I had to use the Game Genie on that one as well. I'd get close. You know how games are. You get so close to beating it, you just cannot do it. So you gotta have a little help. There's that chicken one again. baseball games. Battleship. Every time I read Battleship, I remember the PlayStation 1 when they gave that free game. You could mail in. I always remember that. That was the one I got free for the PlayStation 1. Because used to, you could get like mail-in voucher things, you could get free games. You just got to pay for shipping. Yeah, I remember those days. This. Let's see how there's two of them again. Super Mario World. That was why we got the Super Nintendo in the first place, because of Mario. And then that Zelda. Super Metroid too. That was an awesome game. I think that, believe it or not, I think that's the only Metroid that I've ever beat. Barely beat, but I beat it without any codes, without any help from the Game Genie. It's the only Metroid that I ever beat. I get to the end of all the other Metroids, but I could never beat it. Either I was missing a weapon, or I thought it was kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, how he had to switch from the ice to all the different guns. I just thought it, all they did was change the color, and they made the boss keep changing. And you had to use that weapon on it. And I think that I didn't have the right weapon. I think there was a weapon I was missing. But somehow I made it to the end. Or something. I always assumed that I was missing a weapon, because I couldn't beat it for anything. But that was the only Metroid that I ever beat. The Super Metroid. That's probably why I say that's the best one. Because it just made more sense when they started adding the different colors, for guns, and they kept changing the monster. Monster would be shooting the ice, and you had to shoot it with the ice, or and then they'd switch. The monster would turn into another monster. It was. In my opinion, I think that was just not realistic. It wasn't realistic at all. I mean. And all games don't have to be realistic, but it's still, it just, there's that one again. So some of these are on here again. Okay, there should be one more file on here. I'll just go right over to it. I think this is, I didn't do this one. There's Star Fox 2 Weekend, whatever that is. I'm almost curious just to push on it and see if it works and check it out. So that one there, I think I saw earlier. I changed it. Yeah, some of these might be duplicates. There's just so many of them, though. But we're almost done. Just got a little ways to go. Excellent. Yep. Okay, we're on the T now. And there is 2 files for this one. So many of them, aren't there? Some of the RPGs were awesome on Super Nintendo. Certain games were better than others. Well, that's why you had multiple systems, video game systems. So certain games were better on one system, and they did, only so many that you would actually like on each system. So you'd have Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, NES, and some people still had the Atari back then instead of all these systems. That's all they had. They just play it for a few minutes, and that was enough for them, Or their parents wouldn't let them have it. I had that one. Turtles in Time. Oops. They did have quite a creativity, didn't they, when they made these games? Some of them were awesome, some of them weren't very good at all. Here's Zelda again. Got some duplicates in here. I remember Jean-Claude Van Damme in that movie. Made a movie of that. Kind of a long video, over an hour so far. But I thought I'd do something different. And hopefully you all like it. Do something different. You can see all the games. At least the box art, the names of the games. Just how many there were. Most people couldn't buy all these. Even still today, if the games were cheap enough, collecting these things, you have to have a lot of money. Back in the day, if you bought all of them, you'd have to be rich. You would have to have been rich, well off, your parents or whatever. Because there's just no way the average person would. Basic stuff, that's not having. Back then, everybody struggled unless you were rich, well off or something, But all right, moving on to the next thing, next file. On you. Hey, we're almost there. Just 5, 6 more. And only one file, so that makes it a little quicker. I had this one too. I didn't have a lot of them. I remember this one. This one I beat without any codes. This one here has to be planned out. You have to save your money up, and you have to do it just right. You have to plan it out correctly. And it probably takes about 45 minutes to an hour to beat that game. And you have to do it correctly. If you mess up, you're done. Because you have to buy the weapons. You have to know how to buy the weapons, and when to buy the weapons, and upgrade your airplane. So it was one of those do it right or you're not gonna make it through the game. And you have to keep your power ups. And that was a hard game. I barely beat that one. I mean, that one was like that was a struggle. Today, if I would give that a go, I probably would lose patience after the first level or so. I beat this a long time ago. I said no. You know, certain games, once you beat them, you know, how I was back in the day was, once I beat them, I didn't want to play them again. I really did. It was so hard, and the time consumption of it, patience. You know, life happens, so you can't always sit there in front of the screen. You know, you gotta go to school, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, so there wasn't much time to do a lot of that. We're almost there. Just have a little more patience with me. We'll get through this. Quick run through that their file was real fast. Okay, next. W. Is there any files? For like NES or something, or this one, you know, they're just overpriced games. I mean, dude, we're talking hundreds of dollars for certain games, and they weren't even worth what back in the day. The brand new, completely brand new, unused. They were like $59, $49 or something like that. And now they want more than buying a video game system these days. I think what it had to do with is somebody got away with selling it for a high price, and so everybody else raised their prices. Hey, they could get that, and then all of a sudden everybody was raising it and nobody had it low anymore. And that's kind of how it ended up charging more than what the game is actually worth, you know. That's my opinion. That's what happened with the prices of these games. I had this one. Oh, this is an awful one. Wings 2, Aces High. I thought it would be more than what it was. I paid quite a bit of money for it. Well, not me. You know, my mom got it for me. You know, I picked it out, but it was more than what it was worth. It was maybe a $10 game, and they would charge full price for this game. And I played it anyway because it was so much for that game. And I did everything I could to enjoy that game. That's the sound, and then it got to the point where I was playing it so much, you know, that the sound, the music, the same repeat over and over, started to make me feel kind of sick, to tell you. And I just couldn't play it anymore. And I came back with the Game Genie, though. I did come back with the Game Genie to finish it. But I kind of dreaded it after a while, hearing the music and how it was. because it was just, I just didn't think it was worth that price. But I played it anyway. I made the effort to like it, even though I didn't like it, because it was, you know, it was so high for that game, you know, and so I just kind of dealt with it and just made the best of it. And that's kind of how it is, you know. You got to make the best of what you have. And back in the day, you know, even still today, you got to make the best of what you have, and do, you know, be thankful, humble, even if it sometimes it can be dreadful, but it's just, it's being humble, you know. And but as you get older, you know, as I get older and older, I like things. I know if I like it or I don't like it, you know, and that's kind of how it is now. Okay, I did that one. I sort of say I got confused there. But, alright, we did them. Moving on to the next letter. This only has one file. That's nice. Excalibur. There's only 4 in this one. That'll speed it up, huh? Okay, we're on Y and then Z. Ain't very many in here either. Real quick, I want to show you something. This game right here, Wise 3, that ain't too bad of a game. I played that for a few minutes. It's like an RPG. You know, that one isn't. I didn't think it was super bad or anything. I used the super there. This game might be worth a try if you never played it. Wise 3. Just thought I'd share that with you. My opinion on that one. Okay, last file. We'll be done. There ain't very many in here either. Oh, go backwards. Zoop. Zoom. Don't get confused with Zoo, whatever, from Ghostbusters. Alright, that is it. We are done. Yay, we're done. There's all the games. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, push like or dislike. Please subscribe, and like I said, it will help me a lot, and I will subscribe back. Thank you so much for having patience to watch this video. I know it's long, but I wanted to kind of go through all the games. And I put a lot of work into this, modding this, and I'm going to do probably Game Boy as well, like I said. So to finish the video, thank you for watching, having patience with me, and subscribing, and pushing like, and moving on to the next video.